Hello, welcome to Duncan Egg Bricks and to an early LEGO Harry Potter March 2025 set review. Today we're going to be taking a look at set number 76446, Night Bus Adventure. Now this set officially comes out on the 1st of March 2025, but we are just under a week away here, and I did find it early at a local toy shop, so I was very happy to find that, very surprised, but here we are. I wasn't sure initially if I was going to get this set, as I have the previous version from a few years ago, and I will be doing a comparison with that once this is built, but you know what, I thought I would go ahead and get it. It's got some of these great new windows, which are, I think, 1 by 4 by 2, so a design that we've not seen at all, and a kind of ratio that we've not seen in quite some time. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what this new design brings to the table, how it improves on previous versions, and how maybe previous versions have been a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and build this, and then we will take a look. And here's the finished set. Didn't take too long to build, and it was a quite interesting build overall, obviously with a lot of purple, and the most tedious part of it, as it always is with a build like this, is putting all those pieces of glass in the window frames. But there we are, we got it finished. Got myself a mug of tea in an appropriate mug, and yeah, let's take a look through this set. We'll start with the minifigures, because they're broadly similar to ones we've had before, and in fact I'll do a quick comparison to the most recent version of the Night Bus that we've had. So first up is Harry. He's using the same head and hair that we've seen for quite a while now to represent Prisoner of Azkaban and Goblet of Fire Harry. Dark tan mid-legs, and the print, I believe, is new. It is at least different to the older version, which you can see is almost identical. You can just see the plaid shirt underneath his jacket there. Next up, we have the driver, Ernie Prang, and he is, again, almost identical to the previous version. The printing on the kind of cardigan that he's wearing is different, just a little bit more detail. Although the detail is there on this, it's just in a colour that's much more similar to the actual colour of the cardigan. The face print is, I'm going to say it's not identical. The bridge of the glass is in a different place, But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's basically the same. But then it didn't really need a huge update because it was pretty good. And then the final one that we can compare is Stan Shunpike. So here is the new version. Comes with a very nice new printed tile, Escape from Azkaban, which obviously is the paper he's reading, copy of the Daily Prophet while they are on the bus. And the previous one didn't come with that, I don't believe, and this is what he looked like. This is the one that's undergone the most changes. All other versions of Stan use this hat, the more kind of traditional cap, which I didn't realise was still in production, actually, because we've got this cap on the previous version, which I do actually prefer. I believe this originated in a collectible minifigure of a sailor captain, and it's more detailed. I prefer the shape. The printing of that dark red band across it is just really, really nice. And I think as well, I know what they're going for with the acne printing on the new one, but I just think it looks like he's got food all over his face. I also do like the metallic printing of the ticket machine here. If you lived in London at any point while there were old Routemaster style buses on, you'll be very familiar with these machines where people got their tickets. So overall, I think I do prefer the older one here, but the new one is still pretty good, and that print is very nice. And then the final minifigure, but not the final character in this set, is this character here, who I believe is just described as a witch. In fact, it says so on the box. I can check very quickly. Sleeping witch, apparently, and that is, pretty accurate. She's got a double-sided face. On the back, she is definitely sleeping. I do think, however, and I know it's not meant to be, but I think my headcanon will be that this is Madame Marsh, who is a frequent traveller on the night bus, apparently, despite the fact that she seems to not... Well, let's just say it doesn't agree with her travelling on the night bus, given the fact that it shakes around so much and lurches to stops too quickly. So, although the facial expressions don't match, that's going to be my headcanon here. So nice to get her. I think that's the most minifigures we've had in a night bus set. In fact, the very first one that came out alongside Prisoner of Azkaban only had Harry and Stan. In fact, I do have that set. So Stan was actually pulling double duty on that one as the driver as well. The final character that we have here is the Grim, or Sirius Black in his Animagus form. This is using the modern black sort of Alsatian type dog mould, and I think it's only the second time we've had him. and it's not the same. So I don't know whether it's picking it up there, but you've got the yellow eyes, which are kind of squinted as if they're very angry, and a little printing on the end of the nose. And if I just grab the previous version, which came in the Whomping Willow and Shrieking Shack set, you'll see that the eyes are a lot more oval there, and also there's a little bit of printing on the side of the head, which this one's missing. So yeah, bit of a toss-up which one you like. I suppose this one's good for this scene where you don't know that it's Sirius yet and he's meant to look really threatening, but either way, they both look decent, and it's a nice little thing to have in the scene. The other side builds we get, first of all, we get a trunk. This is just using the modern flat top trunk, which is great. First time we've had it in a night bus set. And then inside, of course, they're both upside down. We have got a printed letter on a tan tile, and we've also got a printed galleon, which absolutely love these pieces with the Lego dragon, classic castle dragon incorporated into that, which looks lovely. It does have one of these plates with the Technic holes on the bottom. This is kind of representing it being on wheels. Not the best representation probably, but at this scale and to get it to fit within the build, I think it's pretty decent. The other thing we get is just a small bit of landscape. It's just a bench, a bush, and a lamppost, which is very appropriate for the scene. You can have Sirius on the opposite side of the road growling at Harry. Never quite sure why he growls at him. Maybe he's warning him the night bus is coming. But this is a nice little throwback to the original night bus set again, which came with, obviously, Sirius Black. It was just a unprinted dark bluish grey old dog. And then it came with a lamppost and a bush. So, you know, not quite as detailed as this, but yeah, this is very nice. Uses as few pieces as possible. And yeah, decent side build. Right, let's get these out of the way. And let's take a look at the build of the night bus. So, when I saw that they were producing another night bus, I did think it was maybe a little bit soon. It's only been a few years since the previous one was produced, and I thought that one was pretty good. However, as is the case with Lego, they're introducing new parts all the time, new techniques, and sometimes those mean that you can revisit something and just give it a bit of a fresh going over. And I have to say, in pretty much every way, I think that this is an improvement. The biggest thing, as I pointed out before, is the introduction of these new windows. They are 1x3x2, and they are the first windows of this size and shape that Lego have made in a very long time. I do have some of my mum's old Lego sets, which had very strange styled windows. I'll try and put a picture up on screen, which were designed for almost kind of like home building sets, but they're really the only time I think that Lego has ever had a window of these proportions, and it is much more accurate to how the bus looks in real life at this scale. So I've sort of looked at some pictures, and I'll again pop some pictures up on screen so you can see the comparison, and these windows are just the perfect size and shape to represent those found on the real life night bus and real life Routemaster style buses. It's not actually a Routemaster bus for anybody who's technically caring about that, but it is very similar with that kind of open back. What they've done is really nice as well. They've matched it so that it matches up with this piece, which has been in production for ages. It's mostly used on trains and boats and things. It's just that sloped windscreen piece there. So the heights don't 100% match. Matches at the bottom, but doesn't match at the top. But again, it gives that look of the split window or windscreen, I suppose it is, which these old style of buses had. So that's very nice. But anyway, right, let's go from the bottom deck upwards, shall we? So unlike the previous version, but similar to the original, I think the 2010 version as well, all three decks on this are removable, and they just use a mixture of tiles and then plates with fewer studs than usual. So you've got the 1x4 plate with just 2 studs just to connect everything nice and firmly together, but make it still easy to take apart. The structure of this is fairly simple. It's 6 wide as expected, just uses the Speed Champion style tyres. These are the ones with the separate tyres, and they've just put some purple 1x1 round tiles there and some light bluish grey 1x1 round plates with the hole through the middle, just for a little bit of difference. I think that's just to denote the slight difference between the front and rear wheels. Technically, I think the rear wheels should be doubled up, but I think we'll forgive them that, given that you can't see it. There's some nice detailing around the front, very similar to the previous version, which again I'll do a comparison with. All the details in this, apart from the printed sticker, of the printed sticker, that makes no sense, apart from the printed newspaper that Stan was holding, are they're all stickers, but you know, it's fine, it's one of those things. So yeah, sticker for the grille at the front, which looks really nice, kind of metallic shine to it. It is missing the number plate across the bottom, which is a bit of a shame, but it is the same size as the older version, so if you do have, you could swap it over. Another little detail there with some vents. The colour blocking is quite decent as well around here. It's using the slightly more modern Speed Champions mudguard pieces, which have the studs, they're basically one or two plates lower, which has meant that they've been able to get as much purple in as possible, although a little tiny bit of black does show up. One thing they've really been able to do around the back here is get the curves in, which the previous version really didn't. These buses are curved around the back here, which is nice. So that's using some studs on the side techniques. You've got a representation of an exhaust pipe under there. Simple but nice. Another sticker at the back. And then you've got the platform here, which looks really, really nice. You've got these 2 steps to jump on. You've got this pole that you can grab onto, or the conductors would actually just hold onto that and basically lean off the back as the bus was going along. You've got another sticker inside there, which I think is just representing a little area where the people's luggage has been stored, and then that's just representing perhaps a little lantern or something. Something it doesn't have, which is a bit of a shame, is any representation of the staircase that goes up the back. So if you don't know, these buses have a sort of quarter spiral staircase that curves up the back and takes you up to the top deck. Or I suppose in this case, it would need 2 of them to take you up to the middle deck and then the upper deck, and there is no representation of that here, but I suppose that's understandable given the scale. It would basically take up too much room. In fact, I've modified my old one, which again I will show you in a second, to actually have that staircase, and it takes up most of the room along the back. So you know, you can decide whether or not you want to do it like that, and I think either way is perfectly acceptable. There's a clip built in just here, which I believe is for just clipping Harry's trunk to. So I think you can just clip that there and then hold it like that, presumably so it doesn't rattle around, or you can just leave it out, no problem either way. And then on the inside, you've probably seen in vibrant colours, we've got coral and pink, is a representation of one of the beds, and this is something again that was a little bit lacking on the previous version of the night bus, although the individual bed itself was a lot nicer. In fact, let me bring that over to you here. So this is the previous version of the night bus from a few years ago, so as you can see, very similar, although looking at it now, these big windows, it just looks like a greenhouse. Very strange. But anyway, this one opens slightly differently, so the side opens like that, and you can see the singular bed that was included in the set is a lot fancier, and in fact it's hinged. I believe this is similar to ones that we used on the Destiny's Bounty from the Lego Ninjago movie, but I think it's been used in a few other places. So that can actually open up, you can put a minifigure inside there and then effectively pull the covers up over them, which is really nice, but also it's massive and there's only one of them. It does slide up and down, which is quite nice, but I think the solution they've gone with on this version is much better. There's a bed on each floor, still only 3 beds, but then that does match the original 2004 night bus, so that's nice. And each of the beds is fitted on a turntable, so it can wiggle from side to side, so that's something, and it does mean there's a bit of space left at the back here. The driver's position is again an improvement. These are really bizarre buses where they just have this kind of half cab, and then this would be the bonnet where you can then open it up and take a look at the engine. And technically there should be glass across this side, but I think in order to get Ernie's arm in fact, I've not tried putting him in just yet, I think he just about fits. And again, this is an improvement on the previous version. Yep, there we go. With his head just sticking above that. This is an improvement on the previous version where effectively the driver's position is all the way back here. So yeah, not good. That is something that's missing, however. A lot of people have said there is no shrunken head in the new bus. I don't know why. I can't actually work out why. The only thing I can think of, and I don't want to suggest it or anything, is I wonder if there were some concerns about cultural insensitivity, possibly. I don't really know whether that's the case, or whether they just didn't have space to fit it in. But either way, I'll be taking the shrunken head from the old bus and putting it into the new one. Yeah, very strange overall, but don't want to get into it. So that is the lower deck of the night bus. Let's go on to the middle deck. Again, these are all 3 splittable. And yeah, we do have the chandelier on the top deck, which I will show you when we get to it. So The middle deck is by far the most boring, I suppose. It does have a sticker inside at the back just there that says Daily Profit, which is a detail from the film. You get another bed that shakes from side to side. And then you have an area here, which is, I suppose, people can stand there. And then a big hole through the middle, which is needed partly to allow Ernie's head to stick through. If I put this on here, you see his head is given plenty of room to stick up into the next deck, but also it's to allow the chandelier to hang down. A little bit strange that there's so much room being used, and then there isn't any kind of railing there, but you know what, it's all magic, so let's just assume that yeah, it's got a magical railing or something. This deck uses, I think, by far the most windows. They're just all the way along the side and then across the front as well, but they look brilliant. The night bus on the front is another sticker just on the side of a brick, but again, I think it looks good. And then you've got representations of the wing mirrors and then these kind of running lights or possibly indicator lights on the side. A couple more stickers around the back, all destinations, nothing underwater, very similar to the previous version. And the curved sides on the back are continued here. It does mean that the windows at the back are a bit too small. This should be a bit wider, but it's Lego at the end of the day, and I think it looks decent. That goes back on there. And then finally, the top deck, you can see the chandelier hanging down. This is a fairly simple construction, just using a bunch of trans clear pieces, and that's clipped onto a bar, which is then clipped into this trapdoor frame, which I think is a new recolor in purple. I've definitely not seen it in purple before. And the roof here comes off in 2 pieces, just front and back. And again, here we have another one of those beds, just knock the chandelier off, another one of those beds that waggles from side to side, and another bit of space there. But there is a really nice detail at the front, which I'm hoping you'll be able to see just about. So another sticker, but that is a representation of some hot water bottles hanging up. And if you don't know, that is something in the book that Stan says is available to Harry for an additional cost. You can either get there's hot chocolate available, and a toothbrush, and a hot water bottle in the colour of, no, the toothbrush is in the colour of your choice. Not sure about the hot water bottle, but either way, it's nice attention to detail, and yeah, a nice little cameo little thing there. The back is interesting. The curved shape finishes in these relatively new kind of corner curved bricks or sloped bricks, however you want to describe them, which, you know, they look really nice, but they do unfortunately leave this little bit of a gap just here and here. There isn't really a piece that could fill that in. And then the window on the back here, I won't pull it off, is just using one of these slope pieces in trans clear, which I've never seen before. Don't know if it's new, but it was new to me anyway. I think, to be honest, the roof is the most disappointing bit of the bus in its entirety. It's just very flat. It's very flat, which, you know, the real roofs were, but I do wonder if there's a little bit more that could have been done. There are those new 2x2 curved slopes, kind of corner slopes, that could have fitted really nicely here and here in purple, so maybe we'll have to see if those are available in purple at some point in the future. The other thing, which I think is being picked up on camera, if it'll get to focus, is the difference in the purple. So these two purple 2x6 tiles are slightly darker, and these are slightly lighter, and in fact these two don't really match the other purples around it, which is a shame. You know, I don't mind it massively, but I think Jang Bricks has said, you know, if you like it as a detail, great, but it's not how it was intended. If Lego designers want to show variety in colour, they will use a different colour. So yeah, bit of a shame that that's ended up like that, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And there's the chandelier that just hangs down, and that shows why there's a gap there, and you just feed that in, and that lands on there nicely, and then all of this matches up really nicely as well. So yeah, very happy with how that's turned out. I'll just bring back in the previous version of the night bus to show you. So yeah, overall, there's not a huge difference between them. The main thing that you can obviously see is the size and shape of the windows. I believe when these windows were, or rather when this set was created, these windows were new. These are the 1x3x3 windows, which again were very useful because that's the 6 wide width just there. And yeah, there wasn't really anything they could have used for that back then, so it was a good solution, but these much better overall. The new one is ever so slightly longer than the old one, but not by a huge amount. Like I said, the staircase at the back here is my creation. I added that as a little bit of extra detail, so the original just had a kind of blank open at the back. But yeah, overall, I think that I would rate this new night bus very, very highly. It's maybe a little bit overpriced here in the UK. I think it's priced at £45. I did pay a little bit less for it at the shop that I got it from rather. But yeah, maybe a £40 would be all right. But then it is nearly 500 pieces, so can't complain too much about it. Let me just get the top deck back on. There we go. Yeah, so if you haven't got a night bus, then I would say definitely go ahead and pick this one up. I think it is superior. But if you do want that extra little bit of detail, then see if you can pick up one of the versions of the shrunken head. The original night bus actually had it printed on a windscreen piece, so you could do that, although that is a 4-wide windscreen piece. And then the 2010, I think, had it printed on a 1x1 cylinder, and the most recent one has it printed on a minifigure head, ironically. Maybe they should have printed it on a baby's head. But yeah, overall, really, really nice. Really happy with how this has turned out, and a worthy addition to my collection. Now I have just got to work out, what am I going to do with my old one? Because that's the thing, it's a lot of purple, and what do you do with purple outside of making night buses? So any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. For a long time now, I've just had a big collection of the old style train windows in purple or dark purple, whatever you want to call it, from that original night bus, and I haven't done anything with them apart from, what did I do? Did I build a narrowboat with it or something a long time ago? But yeah, let me know what you think. So is anyone else looking forward to getting this set on the 1st of March when it officially releases? If you are, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you've got any other questions about this set, about any of the design behind it, or how it is to display. Overall, I'm very happy with it. So, looking forward to some new Harry Potter sets as the year goes on. I'm going to have to be careful with which ones I get because I am running out of space, but something like this is perfect for me. So, which other sets are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be back with another video very soon.